The NBA and NHL playoffs are finally here. The Nuggets and Avalanche are doing battle tomorrow. This is your Denver Sports Daily for April 18th.
The biggest stories, the latest news. It's Denver Sports Daily.
Tomorrow marks the beginning of the 2025 NBA and NHL playoffs, and both the Nuggets and Avalanche, of course, will be playing. The Nuggets will have the first game of the day as they take on the Clippers in Denver. Now, this matchup is going to be tight. It's going to be a battle, honestly, through and through. The Nuggets and Avalanche, between them, who is going to win their first series? The Avalanche have it much, not much easier, but they've got a better chance because this is going to be a tough bout. The matchup is going to be tight between the Nuggets and the Clippers, but the Nuggets should be able to take care of them in 6 games. That's where I've got them. 5 or 6 games, they should be. If they can't, if they go to 7, don't get your hopes up for a deep postseason run from this team. Now, last time these teams met in the postseason, it did go back to 7 games back in 2020. Now, the Nuggets came back from a 3-1 deficit for the second time in a row, back-to-back series, to move on to the Western Conference Finals back in 2020 in the bubble. That was just, if you remember that, it didn't get better than that. That was the Nuggets boys to men moment when they realized that they are actually a good team. They can go out and they can win a championship. That was the moment when it all switched. Now, in this regular season, this year, the series was split. The Clippers won the first 2 matchups, and the Nuggets won the final 2. Now, I have the Nuggets winning in 6 closely contested games. Tomorrow's game will begin at 1:30 p.m., and the Nuggets are heading into it as 2-point favorites. So they're looking good. They're looking like they should be able to get a home win right away. They are playing at Ball Arena, middle of the day, Saturday, kick off the playoffs. It's going to be closely contested. It's going to be a great game, but don't expect a blowout from either side. Now, later in the day, the Avalanche will take on the Dallas Stars, and that's going to be on the road. This series is going to be so much fun to watch. Getting to see the Avs take on Matt Duchene and Mikko Rantanen in the playoffs will be must-see TV. It's going to be crazy. Not even to mention the fact that they get to go back and take out who beat them last year. Now, the Avalanche are looking like the healthiest version of themselves as they head into this matchup, only seeming to miss Gabe Landeskog, who may return to the ice later in the series. Now, in the regular season, the Avs won the series, beating the Stars 2-1. But if you remember, again, last year's playoffs, the Stars were the team that sent the Avs packing. Now, I've got the Avalanche winning this series in 5 games. They will take the ice tomorrow at 6:30, and they are heading into the game as 1-point favorites. It's going to be so much fun to watch these two teams go into battle, going back to the playoffs. If they can't start with a win, that's fine. You got a 7-game series for a reason. The Avalanche should be able to get out there and get a win on Dallas's ice. That would be huge for their confidence. Again, if they can beat Dallas, they can beat anybody in this league. They can. Them going to the Stanley Cup is not crazy. I've got them winning. I told you back when they traded for Mackenzie Blackwood, if they win the Stanley Cup, I'm buying a Mackenzie Blackwood jersey because he is the catalyst. It'll be really fun to see how he fares in his first playoffs. Mackenzie Blackwood's never been to the playoffs before, and getting to see him on a team like the Avalanche, as good as they are offensively and how he played in the regular season, they should be able to make a deep, deep run and hoist that cup once again. Now, again, 2 games tomorrow. Nuggets first, 1:30 p.m., and then Avalanche second, 6:30 p.m. Wow. I can't wait to come back on Monday, talk to you guys more about it. Again, there's going to be more games on Monday, too. The Nuggets, I know, are playing on Monday as well. The Avalanche, I think, are too, but it's what more can you ask for? Again, going back to what I said earlier this week, this is the first time in I don't know how long, but it's been a long time that the Broncos, Avalanche, and Nuggets have all gone to the playoffs in the same year. It doesn't happen often. It doesn't. And I think that that's one part that people forgot is that the Broncos went there too. So maybe the Rockies can pull off the 4-peat and they can pull a cat out or a bunny out of their hat and go to the playoffs. I highly doubt it. But hey, what a better time to be alive as a Denver fan. This is the best it's going to get. Now, moving on, Sean Payton is confident that the Broncos can set some large goals for next season. With the Broncos coming off of a 10-7 record last season and making the playoffs for the first time in 10 years, even though most projections had them failing, it is now hard to overlook this team. They're good. They were not expected to be good. They were great. Bo Nix shocked the world. Most people thought he was a bust pick, And then he came out and he was one of the best rookies in the league. He was like second in the voting for rookie of the year. Now, Sean Payton seems to agree that they can allow themselves to set some big goals. He voices confidence in this team by allowing them to, set those goals. We can't be afraid about talking about our goals and where we see this team, especially coming out of free agency. Payton said that as he addressed the Broncos. Now, the Broncos addressed most of their major needs in the offense on the offseason, adding inside linebacker Dre Greenlaw, a safety in Talanoa Hufanga, and a tight end in Evan Ingram. All those were 3 big pickups for the Broncos. They needed players at each of those positions, and they did it. Now, what's the only major need left? The only major need that sticks out like a sore thumb for this team is a running back, and we all know that. And with that most likely being the target in the draft, it's fair to set some big goals and have some high expectations for this team. So what are those goals? Is it an AFC championship spot? Is it making the Super Bowl? Is it winning the Super Bowl? Making the AFC championship should be a valid goal to set. I mean, look at the Washington Commanders. They did it in their first season with Jaden Daniels. There's no reason to believe that this team can't make a deep run in the postseason next year. There's no reason at all to believe that. This happens before. You draft players and your team completely flips around. The Broncos were dead. They were dead in the water for so long. They got Bo Nix, they got their guy, and they made it to the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. They did it. They did more than most other teams did. You can't say the same thing for the Bears with Caleb Williams, but you can say the same thing for Washington. You look back a couple of years ago, you can look at the Texans. They did the same thing with CJ Stroud. All it takes is one piece. And when you get that one piece, what's the next thing to do? You build around it. And they've done that at an incredibly way. I can't even fathom how good they have built this team around Bo Nix. It's perfect. It's perfect. If they can get a star wide receiver 1, I was really hoping for T. Higgins this year. I'm not going to lie. In this offseason, if the Broncos got T. Higgins, you wouldn't be able to stop me from believing that they can make the Super Bowl. But with their moves, getting Greenlaw, Hufanga, Ingram, those are 3 great pickups. And if they can go to the draft and get a solid running back, and in my eyes, that's Omari and Hampton. If they can get Omari and Hampton with that 20th pick, they would be set to make a deep run. That's the kind of goals you could set. But what if he's not talking about, postseason goals? What if he's talking about, allowing themselves to do some bigger things? What if he's talking about trading up in the draft? That's possible. You're allowed to do that, honestly. I wouldn't like it. You dug yourself out of this hole. You got all your draft capital back. You're looking like you're in a great spot right now. So do you trade up in the draft to get an Ashton Genty? That might be what Sean Payton's thinking about. Again, I don't agree with it. I don't like that idea. I want them to stay where they are and hope Omari and Hampton's still there. But still, the Broncos have allowed themselves to make decisions like this because they have proven that they can do something. They made a great run last season. And I'm not talking about a postseason run. I'm talking about a 10-7 run. They were great. They played at the highest level that they could with Bo Nix. And now they're just looking forward to what can we do in this offseason with the draft and what are we expecting next season. Now that's going to do it for your Denver Sports Daily. I'll be back with you guys again on Monday, hopefully recapping some Nuggets and Avalanche wins. And then next Monday marks 4 days until the draft. It's on Thursday next week. It's going to be so much fun. We're all going to be out there. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. We're going to be doing our whole broadcast out there 2 to 10 p.m. We're going to be broadcasting the draft, bringing you all the coverage that you need to see. But I will be back with you guys on Monday, recapping a couple wins. Pray for it. But until then, y'all have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. I'll see you all later. Bye, y'all.